So welcome to WordPress Hacking Demystified, and I will guide you through the journey of exploring WordPress and understanding the different vulnerabilities that you can find in WordPress. Let's take a quick overview at the course. This course is going to be divided or separated in 8 different sections. The first one is not laid down here. The first one is the introduction section. That's exactly where you are right now watching this video probably. So the first section that contains interesting information about this course, right, is understanding a complete WordPress deployment. In here, we are going to divide and explore what entangles and what it actually means to have a WordPress deployment. When we speak about WordPress, commonly we refer about the website. Some people, when you speak about WordPress, they refer actually about the PHP code that makes the website run, right? So kind of that framework. When we are talking about hacking a WordPress, in order to hack a WordPress site, right, there's several points of entry. There's not only a single vulnerability that you can exploit and then voila, you're in, right? But we have to understand what all the different components for this deployment are in order to make sure that you secure all of them, right? So the second section is going to be a quick introduction to website pen testing. That is going to be a really high overview. It's not going to be web pen testing 101 or anything like that. If you think about it, it's going to be like a couple of brushes to make sure that we all understand the basics of web pen testing. And why is that? Is because WordPress, it's still being a website, right? A website tool or a website. It's still a content management system that it's used to build websites, right? So at the end of the day, you must understand or have a big idea, right? A 20,000 foot view of what is web pen testing, right? We are going to then to move on to which are the different vulnerabilities that you can find in the server. Why is that? Because we have to understand which are the vulnerabilities that you can find in the server if you want to protect against them, right? The same thing happens with WordPress. And when we say WordPress in this case, we refer to the PHP content management system platform, right? To the framework that you are going to use in order to develop your website. We are also going to study here the vulnerabilities that you might be able to find in WordPress in order for you to understand what to look for. Then we are going to give you some best practices to secure your deployment. Now that we understand and we have seen which are the different vulnerabilities that we can find in the server and in WordPress, obviously we will have to come up with some plan in order to patch them or block them, right? The last thing we know or the last thing we want is actually to have a vulnerability that we know it exists and then for an attacker to actually be able to exploit it, right? It's like, oh yeah, I knew that was happening, right? Just after you have me hacked. Well, as you can see, that's not going to be a good idea, right? You want to make sure this is fixed, right? Before you actually publish this WordPress site to the internet or whatnot, right? Or at least, patch it as soon as possible. So we're going to move from there to the 6 or 7 section, which is summary of a WordPress security assessment. This is probably one of the most interesting sections of the whole course, and that's because we kind of change gears here. We will flip around the perspective that we will have when it comes to WordPress security assessments, right? For now, we have seen which are all the vulnerabilities and how to fix them. In this section, we are going to use a little bit more an approach like we had in section 3 or section 2, like a quick introduction to website pen testing. And we are going to tackle it from a pen tester point of view, right? So we are going to start defining which are the different requirements for you to define the scope in order to start the pen testing. We are going to move from there in order to check what are the different tools that you can use and then how you will approach to take such pen testing, right? You will start pen testing, how to write the report, and how to present it to your client, right? That section is going to drive you a little bit through the different steps of this process. And finally, we're going to have a conclusion section where we're going to wrap up the course. Again, we are going to repeat which will be the key takeaways, right, for the whole project or course. And hopefully, by then you will have enough understanding of everything, so you might have some questions. If that's the case, I will make sure to also include my contact information, so you can reach out to me if you have any kind of question that pop up during the course. So, which are the prerequisites for this course? Well, actually, we had to cut down the number of labs in this course. The original course was designed with a little bit, a few more labs. Nevertheless, what I did was try to transition some of the labs that I designed to online platforms. So that means that somebody already made the website that we can test or do the same thing, and then they publish it over there in the wild of the internet, right? So I will kind of try to take advantage of it, and try to make sure that you also know those things. It's going to kind of save us some time. Nevertheless, I believe I've still kept a couple of labs that will run in your own virtual machine. Some of them will be presented as challenge exercises, so something that you can take on your own. And in order to follow these labs, we recommend that you have at least a minimum of 8 gigabytes of RAM and around 20 gigabytes of free disk. It will be great if you have worked with virtual machines before. Don't be concerned if you have not. It doesn't matter if you have some prior experience with VMware, with VirtualBox. This is kind of your own preference. So if you have some prior experience with virtual machines, you're great. If not, don't worry. We will work on it, and we will try to make it as easy as possible. The only thing that is really essential is to be willing to learn, okay? This course is prepared or intended to have a duration of 4 hours. It might extend a little bit, but the intention is to keep it as close to 4 hours as we can. And that means that we cannot go deep into all the concepts that I would like. So I'm going to try to give you as much information. Obviously, prioritize, the most important things. Maybe I spend more time on them. Maybe I just try to brush a little bit on everything. And if I see something that's really important, I will go over it a couple of different times. You will see during the course that I try to really make emphasis on things that I believe that they are important takeaways. So make sure you take them away, right? And you take actionable items on them. But anyway, we are tight on the time because of this time constraint that we set ourselves. And so don't expect this to be a really in-depth course. We are going to try to get you started with everything, but not to worry. I'm going to recommend you some complementary material that you're going to be able to use in order to extend your knowledge or complement whatever we are explaining here in the course. So what are you going to learn, right? There's different things that you're going to learn all over the place. The most important, the three, not takeaways, but the 3 points where I will really like to touch upon in this course are the importance of securing and protecting your WordPress deployments, the different tools that can be used to audit and protect your site, and the practical steps necessary to assess and improve your WordPress deployment. So hopefully, this small introduction has been enough to start teasing you and, for you to be interested in the course. So without further ado, let's get started.